Hi, dear students. In the earlier lecture, we have seen unit number 4.4, The Sign of the Four, Sir Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle's novel, a short novel you have learned in the last lecture, very first part of this lecture. Now, today, the same novel, The Sign of the Four, but part 2 of this lecture, that is activities, is being presented to you by your English teacher, Mr. Avid Here, DVJ College, Chiplun. Hello, students. Today you are going to learn activities. In activities, activity 1. First, describe the character of Mary Marston from Dr. Watson's point of view. Mary Marston was a young lady. She was small and dainty. Her costume was simple, untrimmed, and unbraided. Her expression was sweet and amiable. She had large blue eyes. Her eyes were spiritual and sympathetic. Her nature was refined and sensitive. She was frightened, her lips trembled, and her hands shivered. She was in tense mood. Her voice was appealing to Dr. Watson. Mary Marston was a very attractive woman. He was in love. He watched her until she disappeared in the crowd. Her self control was perfect. She readily answered the questions. Her face was sensitive, according to Dr. Watson. Second, in A1, second activities. Sherlock Holmes is the leading character in the extract. Explain. Answer. Miss Marston came to visit Sherlock Holmes. He is the protagonist in the extract. She told her whole story to Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes listened every detail from her. He promised her to help in her problem. The lady's father was lost in London. Sherlock Holmes went with her to meet unknown visitor at the Lyceum Theatre. Finally, they met the Sahib at the end. He showed a very great patience every time. The whole story was strange, but he studied it well. He found out the details of Miss Marston's father and his friend Major Sholto. He rearranged the mystery and solved it. The story is related to Miss Marston, but the center of action is Sherlock Holmes. So he is the leading character in the extract. Activity third. Dr. Watson, the narrator, is one of the major characters in the novel. Explain. Dr. Watson, the narrator, is one of the major characters in the novel. Explain is not printed here. Now listen the answer. Dr. Watson, Miss Marston, and Sherlock Holmes are three main characters in the extract. Dr. Watson is the narrator. He is the best friend of Sherlock Holmes. He is in love with Miss Marston. He described the young lady in detail. He listened the problem of Miss Marston with Sherlock Holmes. He had a deep sympathy for the young lady. He went with her to visit the unknown visitor. He admired the beauty of Miss Marston. His loving and helpful character. His observation was keen. He observed her every detail, so he is all the time with Sherlock Holmes from the beginning to end. Next activity misprinted here. Third, read it as fourth. Holmes is always one step ahead of Dr. Watson in solving cases. Elucidate. Answer. Mr. Holmes was a keen observer. He noted every detail of Miss Marston's father. He, re- he rearranged the whole story. He asked every minute detail to her. He visited the Times office and find out the date of Major Sholto's death. He found out the logical link of the gifts received by Miss Marston. He unfolded every incident and linked with each other. He took his heavy stick and his revolver with him while going to visit the unknown visitor. He noted every place while traveling with the unknown visitors. He was only interested in case study. But Dr. Watson didn't understand all these things. He couldn't find out reasoning behind Sherlock's any action. He was only in love with Miss Marston. Now, measure activity A2. Activity number 2. Arrange the sentences in correct sequence as per their occurrence in the extract. First, Holmes put a revolver in his pocket. Holmes gave Winwood's book, Martyrdom of Man, to Dr. Watson. Third, Mary received a large and lustrous pearl through the post. Fourth, Mary's father was an officer in an Indian regiment. Fifth, Mary Watson was a well-dressed young lady. Answers. First, answer number 5. Second, fourth, third, fourth, second, and fifth one. This is visible on your screen. So study it carefully. Now major activity A3. Give reasons. Statements to tabular data is given here. One column statements and the other column is of reasons. Miss Marston plans to meet Sherlock Holmes. Second, Miss Marston gives the reference of Mrs. Cecil Forrester. Third, it is a singular case. Fourth, Holmes needed some references. Fifth, the coachman confirmed that neither of Miss Marston's companion was a police officer. In the reasons section, take down the answers. Miss Marston plans to meet Sherlock Holmes because once he enabled her employer, Miss Cecil Forrester, to unravel a little domestic complication. She was much impressed by his kindness and skill. She wanted to hand over her own case. Second answer, Miss Marston gives the references of Miss Cecil Forrester because Sherlock Holmes had unraveled her domestic matter. Third, it is a singular case because about 6 years ago, to be exact, upon the 4th of May 1882, an advertisement appeared in the Times asking for the address of Miss Mary Marston. Fourth, Holmes needed some references because he had found that Major Sholto of Upper Norwood died upon the 28th of April 1882. Fifth, the coachman confirmed that neither of Miss Marston's companion was a police officer. He thought that all would be in vain if they were police. He didn't want to hand over the case to the police officers. Activity 4. Say who said to whom. A very simple activity is this one. Who said to whom? If you have your textbook, you can easily understand who said to whom. You can easily get the answers to the questions given here. A4, say who said to whom. First, You have once enabled my employer, Mrs. Cecil Forrester, to unravel a little domestic complication. Second, you will, uh, I'm sure, excuse me. Third, your statement is most interesting. Has anything else occurred to you? Fourth, are you the parties who come with Miss Marston? And fifth one, the Sahib awaits you. There is no need here to repeat the sentences, repeat the quotations here. Um, I'm going to give you answers. Miss Marston said to Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who said to whom? Miss Marston said to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Second, see other details have been given here. It is not necessary to tell you here in this section, but you can read this. Third, second answer, Mr. Watson said to Sherlock Holmes. You have to repeat the sentences given here. Sherlock Holmes, third one, Sherlock Holmes said to Miss Marston. Fourth, a coachman asked Miss Marston. Fifth, the coachman said to Miss Marston while she entered the inner room. Now, A5, write in brief the theme of the extract. As in the very first lecture, I have given the theme of the story of the novel, but here of the extract in short. Answer: a lady named Miss Marston came to Sherlock Holmes. She told about his father's disappearance, and after that, she received pearls and the letter. She was asked to meet at the Lyceum because the unknown visitor wanted to meet her and to do something good for her. He thought that Miss Marston was a wronged woman. He wanted to do justice with her. At last, she went to meet the unknown visitor with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. Sherlock Holmes tried his best to find out the clues of a mystery case. A6. Write 4-5 sentences about the meeting of Miss Marston with Holmes, central idea of the extract. Answer: Miss Marston came to hand over her father's missing case and to tell the story of letter from unknown visitor. She knew that Mr. Holmes solved the domestic complication of her employer, Miss Cecil Forrester. She was much impressed by his kindness and skill. Mr. Holmes heard everything from her. He asked some more details and promised the lady to come with her to visit the unknown visitor at Lyceum Theatre. She went to visit the unknown Sahib. A7. Which places, cities in India and England are mentioned in the extract? This novel story has taken place in India and in England. Some places from England, some places for India are mentioned. Which are they? Just see the answer. Answer: A. India, Bombay Infantry, Andaman Island, Agra. B. England, A. Edinburgh, Miss Marston's hostel. B. London, Langham Hotel, Upper Norwood, Lyceum Theatre, Windsor Square, Rochester, Raw, Walsall, Bridge Road, Woodworth Road, Priory Road, Lock Hall Lane, Stockwell Place, Robert Street, Cold Harbour Lane, etc. Activity 8. How does the series of action go from London to India? Explained by citing references from the extract. The answer is, just see on your screen also. I'm going to read it for you. The extract is about Miss Marston's missing mystery of her father. Lost in London in 1878. Before that, he was working as major captain of his regiment in India. He obtained 12 months' leave and came home. The sentence showed that he came to England from India. But when Miss Marston went to meet him to London Hotel in London, she found that he was disappeared somewhere. Activity 9. Elaborate the following lines in the light of the extract. You are an automation, a calculating machine. Answer. The sentence is spoken by Dr. Watson to Sherlock Holmes when Dr. Watson told him about the beauty of Miss Marston. Sherlock Holmes replied that he did not observe her. So Dr. Watson said to Sherlock Holmes, "You really are an automation, a calculating machine." B. Activity 9. It was 9A. Now B. The letter speaks of giving her justice. What justice can she have? Answer. The above sentence is spoken by Mr. Sherlock Holmes to Dr. Watson. When he came back from Times, he found that Major Sholto died on 28th of April 1882. With a week of his death, Miss Marston received a valuable present. In the letter, she was described as a wronged woman. Mr. Sherlock Holmes was thinking why the letter received after 6 years. He was thinking about justice given to Miss Marston. Our quest does see our quest does not appear to take us to very fashionable regions. Answer. The above sentence is spoken by Mr. Sherlock Holmes when Miss Marston, Dr. Watson, and Sherlock Holmes were going to visit an unknown visitor. They traveled to the unknown place. They traveled for a long time and crossed the main London city. The above thought came into the Sherlock's mind. So, students, read these activities carefully and learn it by heart. So, we have seen this novel, The Sign of the Four. That is all about this novel. And students, see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Stay safely at home.